Well, good morning, everyone. How you doing? Nice to have you on with us this morning as we do a question and answer Friday. Okay, and Mike, you're number one today. Brahim, number two. And who's number three? Who's in our little trinity? And it is Rita. Good morning. And we appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on. Sandy, how are you? And Nick from our staff. And Rosalinda from the Kidneys of Canada. Linda from St. Jude, Quebec. And Kevin from Oshawa. Fran from Orangeville. And Donna from Park Hill. And Sandra from Aurelia. Good morning, guys. Rain Cloud, how are you from Michigan? Mary, Norwich. And Mary from New Brunswick. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Rosa, Montreal. Wendy from Markham. And Grace from fabulous Fenwick. Gina. And Gina says she's back. Sherry, Mississauga. Anna, Hamner. Carol, good morning. Moncton, New Brunswick. Yvonne, Petawawa. Nice to have you on. Jeanette, how are you? Linda, we love those Lindas. New Brunswick. And Bonnie, good morning. And Mary Ellen from Vancouver, Washington. Diane, how are you? Sue, Manitoulin Island. Yolande, bonjour. Rita, good morning. Nancy, Gore's Landing. Sylvette, good morning. Jeanette, good morning. Marla from Ottawa. And Debbie, Sturgeon Falls. Roxanne, good morning from Pembroke. And Cindy, Penticton, British Columbia. Faye. And Donna from Newfoundland. Lorraine, BC, British Columbia. Luella, West Tennessee. Fran from Tilsonburg. Nativity. Nativity thinks I miss her all the time. Georgie, Cecilia, and Lisa Marie. Okay, a couple of more. Let's get going. Deb from Motown. April, good morning. Sandy from Chilliwack, British Columbia. And Dave, good morning. And I didn't see that name. Deborah. Debbie from Pittsburgh. Karen from Sault Ste. Marie. Darlene. And Natalia. I got to tell you, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Milika. Okay. Now, let's go through some of the questions that we have this morning. I'm going to ask one that Rita is saying, how come, this is a good question, how come she got hardening of the arteries when she's been taking vitamin D and vitamin K2? Well, look, Rita, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. Look, okay? Let me tell you something about life, first of all, okay? There are no guarantees, okay? And when you take, Rita, vitamin D, best thing you can do is take vitamin D, okay? You know me. Vitamin D is good for everything. Think for everything. Your heart, your brain, your bones, every organ in your body, your skin. Vitamin D. You're a human solar panel. Okay? Now, vitamin D helps your bones. Do you know how it helps your bones, Rita? It makes calcium. Vitamin D. Okay? It helps to calcify your bones. Now, we put vitamin K2 in with vitamin D as a supplement. Okay, the sun does its own thing. But when you take a supplement of vitamin D, you're helping your bones. And in medicine, generally, that's all they think vitamin D does. Like they're so behind the times. They don't know about vitamin D in your immune system. They should. They don't know about vitamin D even in your heart. They should, but they don't, generally. So we put K2 so that calcium that is made by vitamin D gets to its intended destination, okay? Now you're wondering why, by taking vitamin D, why you got any plaque in your arteries. Well, look, there's a lot of other factors there. One of them is aging, okay? Part of aging is your blood vessels. They're not as pliable. And there's a lot of factors. Inflammation is a factor in damaging blood vessels. We talk about that all the time. Rita, again, I don't know you specifically, but bad diet for a lot of years. Like I said, aging, stress can be a factor because it pours gasoline on that inflammation. Anyway, like I said, in life, there's no guarantees. Well, there is a guarantee. You're going to age and die. Guarantee. Okay? That's just the way it is. Look at moi. Okay? Do I look like, I should have brought this out, a picture of myself when I graduated in 1974. Do I look like that now? No, I don't. I don't. And it's part of life. It's aging, okay? And there's a lot of things that go into that. Free radical damage, oxidation, that's another thing that can cause certain plaque or hardening of the arteries. It's just part of life. So what you do when you take a supplement, most people don't take vitamin D for plaque. They take vitamin D for their immune system, whatever, but it doesn't matter. It is good for your heart. It is. Because what vitamin D does, it elevates your nitric oxide. So that opens up your blood vessels. And who knows, Rita, that by taking vitamin D with K2, that it didn't stop you from getting a heart attack. Okay? I don't know. Supplements are an investment. Okay? Supplements are an investment. A lot of people put money away for their retirement and they never get there. What I always tell people, one of the best investments you can make is taking supplements. It's an investment into your health. It is protective. And I do it. I've been preaching it for 50 years. But I never tell people that you can out-supplement a diet. Because you know me, I always start with diet. And I love vitamin K2 because I talk about it all the time. Vitamin K2 is found in eggs, meat, and cheese. And the reason that it's found there is because when you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you're going to get calcium. Your body needs calcium. I don't like it as a supplement, but I sure like it in food. But vitamin K2 is God put that in there to take that calcium and put it where it belongs, in your bone and teeth. Okay? So, I hope I answered your question, Rita. Like, first of all, you did the right thing. It wasn't like, but I don't think unless you did this, Is I taking vitamin D with K2 because I don't want to get a heart attack. Well, to some extent it helps, but there's way more to it than that. Okay, so that's really my answer to you. Did you do the right thing? Yes, you did the right thing. There's nobody, and I mean nobody, that doesn't need vitamin D. Now, if you can get it from the sun, good for you. Okay? Good for you. The people that live in Florida are low in vitamin D. You know why? Because they don't go in the sun. They're scared of the sun. Because they've been brainwashed. Okay? Now, us folks that live in Northern Ontario, in the wintertime, in the fall and the winter, you gotta take a supplement of vitamin D. I take a supplement of vitamin D all year round. Okay? And about twice a year, I get my vitamin D measured in my blood. And I like to optimize my levels of vitamin D. Okay? Now, sun, Rita, sun, steak, and steel. Thanks for the question. We appreciate it. John, for early Alzheimer's, what do you think of the Mediterranean diet and saturated fats? I love the Mediterranean diet, the real Mediterranean diet. Okay? Because a lot of times if you Google the Mediterranean diet, it'll tell you, well, it's on those people in the Mediterranean eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. You know what, guys? They eat a lot of fish. They eat a lot of meat. They eat a lot of eggs. And they love their olive oil. And here's another thing about the Mediterranean diet, okay? Because I remember talking about this on my radio show a long time ago. Because the Mediterranean diet, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay? The Mediterranean diet. Because it was the vegetarians and the vegans saying that, isn't that wonderful? Yeah, it's wonderful. But it is, those people that live in the Mediterranean region, when you really analyze their diet, you see, it's not only what they eat, it's what they don't eat. They're not huge. They're not like North Americans, where we consume almost 200 pounds of sugar a year. They don't do that. Okay? They don't eat, like we do, processed, fast foods. Now, guess what? Fast foods is getting into that area. And whenever it does, the health goes down. So they love their oils. I love oil too. I'm a big guy on oil. I love olive oil. You guys know that, but I like bacon better because it's got the same oil. Oleic acid. But I know you're asking the question, John, because, the Mediterranean diet. But they don't tell you everything about the Mediterranean diet. Very high in omega-3 because of the fish they eat. I have fish every day in a capsule. I love fish in a capsule. Okay? And they love their meats. Okay? Remember, my wife's Italian. They love their meats. They love their eggs. They love cheese. Big time. And that sort of gets skewed. I hate to say it, by propaganda from the vegetarians and vegans of the world. Oh, the Mediterranean diet. As if it's just fruits and vegetables and olive oil. Because it's not. Okay? So, that's me, John. But is it good for Alzheimer's? You bet your boots it is. You bet your boots. Okay. Carol, if you have twitches in your eyes at times, and by your chin, numbness and upper lip, what could I be deficient in? Possibly two things. Magnesium. Okay, magnesium. Often, if you're low in magnesium, you can get twitching in your eyes. B12 is a common one, mostly for that numbness, because B12 is a neurological vitamin. Okay, so I would look, Carol, at magnesium and B12. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Linda. We love those Lindas. Linda, why are there so many carbs in liver? Well, there isn't a lot of carbs in liver, okay? I mean, there might be a couple of grams of carbs just naturally occurring in the organ meat. Nothing to write home about, Linda, okay? I mean, that's not a lot of carbs. A couple of grams of carbohydrates in a piece of liver. I love liver, by the way. I like steak better. Liver is a great food, but naturally occurring carbohydrates, but not many. I mean, you don't even talk about it because they're just more in liver. There's more carbohydrates in liver than there is in a steak. That I agree with. But organ meats do that. But again, they're naturally occurring, nothing. I mean, they're so small, I don't even talk about it. Okay? But why? It's just naturally occurring. It's like yogurt. Okay? Like if you just make yogurt, do it yourself. There's going to be carbohydrates in there and a few grams of sugars, which are carbohydrate. But that's naturally occurring. Okay? Thanks for the question, Jackie. Why are there so many magnesiums on the market? Well, that's a good question. Well, look, I mean, different magnesiums do, look, I love magnesium. You guys know that. I talk about it all the time. Okay? My favorite magnesium is magnesium citrate. Whenever you see an 8 at the end, ATE, it's chelated, meaning your body is absorbing it better. So that's why magnesium citrate. Now, the problem with magnesium citrate, or can be, some people don't tolerate it because it relaxes. Okay, magnesium relaxes. Whenever I think of magnesium, I think of the word relax. Relaxes your muscles. That's why I like Epsom salts. They're just magnesium salts. Okay? And you take a hot bath before going to bed with magnesium Epsom salts. Good idea. A lot of people, they don't do that. They don't take baths anymore. Or, not like we used to. Okay? Not what... I'm trying to think if I'm a kid in the 1950s, okay? I remember taking showers, because we had a shower in our basement in the 1960s. But before that, you took a bath, right? And today, we take showers generally, I know a lot of people love their baths, okay? But I'm just telling you, generally, like kids, a bath. You know, I get a bath when I'm a kid. Now I take a shower. Yeah. All I'm saying is, baths are wonderful. And if you put some Epsom salts in there, you're getting magnesium salts, and it relaxes everything. Yeah, there's different forms. Okay, Epsom salts are a different form of magnesium. You got magnesium citrate, you got magnesium threonate, you got and another one that I like is biglycinate, because, and the reason we came out with that is because some people that want to take magnesium, and I love magnesium citrate, they were having trouble with their bowel. It made their stool loose. And it bothered their stomach and, or their gut, and okay. And I like magnesium biglycinate, by the way. I do. Okay? Because it's a chelated form of magnesium that your body absorbs. Okay, thank you so much for the question. I think there's another question there. We're just going over that about magnesium in a minute. Let me see. Mary, can you tell me what I should do for adrenal fatigue? Well, we talked about adrenal fatigue this week, okay? And it's very, very important, not with the supplement to start off with, in a sense, start with a diet. Because one of the things that one of the things that cortisol does is it elevates your blood sugar. And what goes up must come down. And when you get adrenal fatigue, usually your cortisol is out of balance and you suffer with a condition called hypoglycemia. I saw that 1,000 times in my office. Low blood sugar. But it still comes down to choosing the right fuel. You want the right fuel. Okay? And the right fuel is eggs, meat, and cheese. So start there, Mary. Now, the supplement I love a couple of supplements. Obviously, cortisol control. And I was saying this yesterday, that if you find a product better for cortisol than the Martin Clinic formula, good luck. 8. You see, I'm a formulator. Tony Jr., formulator. Based on clinical experience. When you put things together, okay? I love ashwagandha. It's a big part of our cortisol formula. But I like it better when you combine it with other natural ingredients. Because clinically you got to get results. So cortisol control, I would have you on Navitol pine bark extract. I wrote a book about it 30 years ago or more. Pine bark and adrenal fatigue. I wrote a book about it. And the bark with the bite, I called that book. Because what it did with adrenal exhaustion, fantastic. And one of the reasons, because with adrenal exhaustion, you get brain fog. And Navitol, pine bark extract, crosses the blood-brain barrier, elevates your nitric oxide, opens up those blood vessels in the brain. So good for you, okay? And vitamin D, of course, and vitamin B12. Those are essential because whenever you have adrenal exhaustion, almost invariably, I can't even think that I ever saw an exception to it. They didn't have optimized levels of vitamin D, and they didn't have optimized levels of B12. They just didn't. Okay? And probiotic, you got to fix the leaky gut too, because that's so common with adrenal exhaustion. As a matter of fact, a lot of it does start right in the gut. Okay? I was the first guy to do this. And I got interviewed probably on 100 radio shows and TV shows when I wrote that book. And I was the first guy that linked antibiotic use to adrenal exhaustion. I was the first guy that did that. Now that's going back a long time ago. But I knew what leaky gut was even then. And that leaky gut had an effect on your adrenal glands. Okay? And it would mess up your thyroid. There's a lot of moving parts in adrenal exhaustion, but that was my protocol pretty well. Okay, thank you very much for the question, Mary. It's much appreciated. Susan, Dr. Martin often mentions fix your leaky gut. When? Oh, I just talked about it with Mary. So Susan says, how do you know when it is fixed? Well, that is such a good question, Susan. How do you know when leaky gut is fixed? Not easy. Okay, but let me give you an example where you would know. You got eczema or psoriasis on your skin. That's visible, right? And you know, or at least Susan, I'm sure you do, because we talk about it. That started in the gut with leaky gut. A fungus, a yeast, a Trojan horse got into the bloodstream. And your body reacted to that, sort of an autoimmune thing. And then your skin clears up. When you take care of your diet and you take probiotics and you seal up the leaky gut. I like bone broth for that too. So you know what I'm saying? That you would know that, you fixed your leaky gut. Let me just say something, Susan, that's really important, okay? And this is, I because of the microbiome, because of the world that you and I live in my opinion, you must always take a probiotic. You must. To me, if you want to be healthy, you have no choice but to invest in your gut. Because, I mentioned this to you before, research, plastic. Okay? We consume and assimilate a credit card and a half of plastic, microplastics in our body, in the gut especially, every week. It's the world in which you and I live in. It's not going to change. Okay? So you need to protect yourself. And that's why I'm big on protecting and regenerating and replenishing your microbiome, because if you do that, you're helping to seal up your gut and fix your leaky gut. Now, let me just say another thing, because I think this is important. Do you know that, and I haven't talked to you about this for a long time, but if you take an antibiotic, okay? You take an antibiotic, you wipe out, all your good bacteria. And some research has said that you never replenish a tribe. If you lose a tribe of microbiome, you never replenish that. Well, you won't unless you take probiotics. They're not talking about probiotic. They're talking about they check the microbiome of people over years. Remember, there's been a lot of research on this. And they took an antibiotic as a kid, got rid of a certain tribe, a strain of bacteria, and it never came back. But the good news is you can take care of that. Okay? And a little further on leaky gut, it's hard to say that you've completely fixed leaky gut unless you have a skin condition that you can see. But generally, here's some clues that your leaky gut, you feel a lot better. Your skin is a lot better. Your energy is a lot better. You're not getting as sick as often. Your gut feels better. You're absorbing your food better. You have less food allergies or whatever, or yada, yada, yada. Look, because there's no specific test. I used to do live blood, and I believe every doctor should do live blood. And the problem is with most practitioners of live blood, I hate to be negative, but they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? They really don't. Like a lot of them. They just don't know what they're looking at because they don't have enough background in blood. They haven't taken histology. They don't understand what they're seeing there. But I used to like to look at blood. It wasn't everything, but it told me a lot of times there was leaky gut, because if you do a live blood test on a fast where you've given a good 4 or 5 hours or more to let food to be completely digested, you really shouldn't see food in the serum because it's micro-sized. Now, there was exceptions to that if they couldn't break protein down. I talked to you about that with the stomach and not enough acidity in that. But it's a good question. I could go on for hours, Susan, but anyway, I hope I answered some of your questions. Thank you for that question. Very good. Kim, a family member who suffered a great deal of health issues that all started with Bell's palsy. No fun. Comes out of nowhere. Usually due to inflammation of the cranial nerves, impingement of the cranial nerve. Your cranial nerve, like in school, okay? Like me, you know me, I'm a visual guy. I need illustrations and I used to do this with the cranial nerve. Put your hand, one behind your neck here, and then all your fingers spread out, and there's your cranial nerves. Well, some of them, okay? Because it went right across your face. And Bell's palsy, you can imagine, you get this, and you can have a drooping eye. Your lip is, it's no fun under the sun. But usually with Bell palsy, this is my experience. They were deficient in B12. They were deficient in vitamin D. There usually was stress in their life, and it was a perfect storm. Okay? Thanks for the questions. Beautiful. Brenda, do you know if CBC oil, you mean CBD oil? You might have wrote CBD, but my girls wrote CBC. No, it's not CBC oil. It's CBD. Okay? The marijuana plant. The oil. Now, there's two things, okay, in marijuana. There's the oil, CBD, and there's the, TCH? And when you smoke it, don't smoke it. Okay? Hemp seeds. Don't smoke them. The marijuana. Especially today, the TCH has gone up through the roof, and 10% of those people that do that can get schizophrenia. Now, the oil is different. It's more medicinal. Okay? Now, some people can get some side effects from it, but the oil is much more medicinal. Okay? Can I, look, a lot of people swear by that oil. And they find it good for pain and inflammation. They find it good for sleeping. But here's my general experience with it. General. Always exceptions. It had a shelf life. Meaning that, oh man, that really helped me at first. And then it didn't help as much. Okay? But I'm not against it. I'm just telling you what the experience has been for a lot of my patients. You know, they took it. They said, Doc, it was like a miracle. I started sleeping better and I felt better. But then it didn't work after a period of time like it used to. Okay? So there you go. I hope I answered your question. Who was that? Brenda. No. Oh, does it raise your liver enzyme? Possibly. Could be a side effect. You know, watch your liver because that's possible. Would it be good for arthritis pain? Yeah, some people find it effective. I like other things better than that. But if you find something that helps you and it's not giving you side effects, I got no problem with it. Laurel, what does Dr. Martin think of medicinal mushrooms? I like them. Okay? My grandfather, by the way, okay, who started the Martin Clinic in 1911, he loved pine bark. He loved mushrooms. He loved, like, chaga. This is way before I was ever born. Okay? He had, I wish my father had written down, he wrote some stuff and I love that. I can go back. I love our history of the Martin Clinic. My grandfather, you know, I never met him in the sense, I guess I did. I was a baby. He probably held me in his arms. He died in 1952. I was 6 months old when he died. But people, like, even when I was in practice, people would say, well, your grandfather, he did this, he cured this and that. He was a genius. But he liked mushrooms, and he liked those extracts. Okay? Now, I like lion's mane. Okay? Because we use it in our brain formula and Fortis for testosterone. If we can ever get that back. Anyway, that's another thought. I like it, Laurel, I do. You're hearing more and more about the benefits of them. Yeah. Jessica, what are your thoughts on taking spleen extract? Well, all right. I mean, and it's like taking the liver extract. Do I like it? Yeah. Is it fantastic? Nah. Okay, it's all right though. I got no problem with doing it. I just like spleen. You would take it. I mean, I used to have patients that would tell me they took it because their blood was low. They weren't making enough red blood cells. And that's what your spleen does, right? And your bone marrow. And look, again, I just got to tell you, like, I never saw anything dramatic with taking a spleen extract. Okay? I just never saw anything dramatic with it. Okay, but I'm not against it. Okay, a couple of more. Are we gonna? Okay, where am I here? I don't think we're gonna get rid. I don't think we're gonna do it all. Okay, where am I? Oh, okay, that was Jessica Carroll. Osteoporosis. Can you build bone density when lost? Absolutely you can. Okay? If you're still alive, you can build bone. The best thing you can do is take vitamin E, exercise, get stronger. The stronger your muscles are, the better your bones are. Muscles anchor in to your bones, and your bone has to get strong to anchor that muscle, and you start by getting your muscles strong. Ladies, especially, men can get osteoporosis, but it's usually associated with women and hormones. You need to get strong. The more we study muscle, okay, the more we study muscle, muscle is an endocrine organ. I put it in there with your thyroid and your adrenals and your pancreas. Muscle is so important, not just for bones though, but for your metabolic health. It's bins, it's storage bins. It's so good for insulin and insulin resistance, okay? And that too affects your bones. So yes, what are the best exercises? Get strong. What are the best supplements? Vitamin D and K2. That's the best. Vitamin D and K2. Okay? That's the best supplement. But, anywho, and eat your eggs, meat, and cheese. There you go. Okay, this is going to be the last one today, and then I'll try and get to Francis. I would like to know what to do with dry mouth and a white tongue. Well, usually it could be medications, okay? So I don't know you, Francis. Depends. I've seen that a lot with medication, side effects of it. Dry mouth can be part of an autoimmune like Sjogren's, but it could be a lot of things. Dry mouth can come, and a white tongue can come with a silent acid reflux, having low acidity in your stomach, and now your body's trying to compensate with that. It can be a sign of fungus or yeast, leaky gut. Lot of things, Francis. Okay. So guys, let's stop there. I think we're going to have to do question and answer Monday. Yeah, looks like it. What's new? Okay. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We thank you for all the questions sent in. And really, guys, when I go through almost everything we do on this podcast, they come out of questions. A lot of them are questions that you ask. Okay? And I like that. I really like you guys asking questions, okay? And it keeps you smart. How's that? Ask questions. Ask your doctor questions. They might not like it, but ask the questions. You have every right. It's your health. Okay, guys, we love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.